Hello and welcome back to the stream, the video. So I'm going to be reviewing my game with Emir. Emir is rated 1200. Alright, don't look. Alright, here we go. So I'm playing with white pieces, and I start e4, best by test. But I think it's good to have like variety, so try to play different openings, vary it up. And variety is the spice of life, you know? So Emir starts with c5, which is the beginning of the Sicilian Defense. If you want to be like a distinguished player, or I don't know, a very classy player, you'll probably have to learn how to play the Sicilian, play against the Sicilian. I started with knight to g3, discouraging this pawn push. I mean, I wasn't actually expecting it. That's not usually what they play. But I'm also getting ready to fight back in the center with d4 as early as the next move. I can't do it on this move because he takes, queen takes, and then knight comes out. Oh, that's not how knight works. That's not how knight works. Knight goes here, attacking the queen, and then the queen has to move. So that would mean that Emir would get his knight out with tempo. So we just bring out the knight. This is all pretty standard. It reveals the protection of this pawn. I strike back immediately in the center. Theory move. So pawn takes, knight takes. So if knight takes, knight comes. So if in the other version, the queen would go here, and if the knight comes out, then I would have to move. But because the knight comes out, if he wants to trade, it's an equal trade, so I'm not too concerned, I can, even develop another piece, or if I wanted to develop another piece, I don't know if that's probably the best move. There's even like, I could say you have to take me, but I don't think that's so good either. Anyway, we didn't get any of that. Emir played the theory move, which I didn't realize was a theory move, the a6. So this might be called the a6 Sicilian. I'm not sure. I guess the idea was to stop this annoying bishop from coming to the square. People do hate this bishop. So this setup is called the Maroczy Bind with these two pawns. So if he pushes back here, I actually don't know which pawn I'm supposed to take with. I should probably look this up after the review. But this is what I did, and this is the Maroczy Bind. Try to remember that. You might see it in some of your games. So knight comes out, attacks the pawn. Note, this is not a move. I considered it briefly in the game, and I didn't even see the major drawback. So if I were to take, then the queen would say yoink, and fork these two pieces. And then I'd have to defend, and then the queen would pick it up for free. Always got to be watching for this trigonometry? So, I don't know if that's trigonometry or... Anyway, so I defend the pawn. This is also a theory move, but I cannot understand what it does. Maybe it's to prevent that. I don't think it prevents this. Well, it does, but I don't actually understand the idea of this in the Sicilian. So I played this, but I think the computer really wanted me to play this move. No. That doesn't. I think that this was right. Or it wanted this, but we'll have to review it afterwards. Alright, so bishop comes out, attacks the knight. I move my knight back to counterattack the bishop. While playing chess, when your opponent makes a move, you want to try to tell them that their move was stupid, and that they shouldn't have done that. They should have done something else. So opponent was just like, okay, I'm going to be I don't want to like retreat the bishop now that I moved it out, you know, and that's sometimes that can be like bad as far as psychology goes. I understand it's only a thought, but people actually do think like this. So he redefends with the pawn. I take because I felt like his bishop was more valuable than my knight, because for the simple reason this bishop is so sad. It's got no life because it's blocked by its own pawn. This pawn can move at a certain point, but right now it can't. But more so, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns that are all fighting for the light squares. And we have this knight that's also fighting for the light squares. And we have, well, even this knight is fighting for the light squares. The only person that's like fighting for the dark squares right now is the queen. And, you know, so they really should have had their dark squared bishop. This was not the right move. Computer really wanted me to do this. I see that it tells me to do this, but I don't know what it does. I do not know what it does, and I looked at the engine, and the engine's just like, okay, this is the best move after. So I don't get it. So I did this. I guess it could have moved. No, there's no moves. It can only move here. So it can also move back, but that's a sad looking move. So knight comes out. This is too premature. Engine didn't like it. It really wanted me to wait for him to castle and then take. I guess the idea is, you know, after takes, he could have like tried to castle on the queen side and had like an open rook looking at my position, I guess. So I castle, but it wanted me to play this immediately. I didn't expect opponent to castle this way. So I don't think that the engine liked it now. And this is why like move order is really important. I apologize for all the squeaking. The desk tray is annoying. So I moved the bishop here to get the bishop out of the way so the queen could get over here. But I guess that would lose to here, but Emir doesn't really play that. Plays this instead, which I thought was a bad move when I saw it. So queen comes over, queen's more active, clears the space so the rook, or the rook, not sure which one, but a rook can get to the center file here. King moves back. So engine wanted me to play here, but I play here instead. I thought the moves were interchangeable. This doesn't work because I have this. Opponent completely disregards this. I want to protect, so I come down and check. Only move because the king is currently trapped, so he has to block the rook. I bring the next rook to the open file, trying to mate him on the back rank here. But I can't right now because he's got the knight that covers here, and he's got the queen that covers here. So, moves the knight here. Computer doesn't especially like that. Computer doesn't like this either. Really wanted me to get ready to do the rook lift, you know. What was I concerned about? I don't know. Something relating to this? That doesn't work either. Something relating to... I don't know. This wasn't a good move. Queen is now threatening mate with this battery. So I did this, but the engine was just like, you should check him, but then the rook comes back. And then it's just like, well, you should come back. And the rook comes back. And it's just like, well, check him again. And it's just like, okay. And the rook comes back. And it was just like, you know, sort of a repeat. So I just skipped all of that noise and just played this move. And the engine hates it. Says I really should have checked him forever. So, queen comes back. I consider taking, but it does not work, because if queen takes and queen takes, and the rook is no longer pinned, so it can take back the queen. That would be a very silly move on my part. So I'm trying to get... One of the reasons that I did push this forward was mostly so I could get the knight. I wanted to carve out the square so the knight could get over here, which is one of the reasons that I did this. Which is probably the only reason that I did this, because it doesn't do anything else. So knight comes in. He checks me. When the knight moved, it relinquished control of this square, but this check was pretty harmless. King moves, attacks, has to move, moves back. Engine's just like, you should sack this. But instead, I decided to take away the defender of the knight. Actually, I think it actually wanted this first. So if it takes, I don't know. Well, there's this, and then he defend. If I were to do this, and he were to do this, because if he, I'm sorry, one thing at a time. If pawn here, and if pawn takes, this guy no longer has a defender, and I could pick it up for free. But I expected if here, then here, so even if I take, then the pawn takes back, and this pawn is still defended, so I suppose this is a move that I should have considered. Why didn't I play this move? I really want to get this rook involved, I guess. Why didn't I just play this? Just like, this is pretty crushing. It attacks the queen. The queen doesn't really have any squares. It can't go there. Yeah, I probably should have just continued focusing on the king. Instead, so it's attacking the knight, but his knight is hanging, so I took the knight. I can't begin to understand what this does. I guess he wanted to, like, you know, get more protection in the back rank, but there wasn't time. I played a silly move instead of, like, trying to win a queen, you know. Well, I guess the idea was, if I go here, and then queen takes, and then rook comes. I mean, it's still pretty crushing. But I didn't see the mate immediately. I was trying to protect the rook. I mean, in the game, I was prioritizing the safety of the rook. You know, I'm trying to take care of my teammates or whatever. I'm trying to be a good king and all that. So, couldn't tell you what that does, except for put the nail in the coffin. Well, okay, that put the nail in the coffin. So, now the queen is pinned to the king. She can't get off the rank, so she's got to take, or what Emir did was check me first. She's just like, spite check! So I just move out of the way. He defends the queen. I take the queen, and mate. So let us look at the game review. I played with an accuracy of 83.1% at a game rating of 1800, go me, especially for my lowly score of 1228. Emir played 66.2, he played at a 1050 level, that's below his rating. So let's start the review. So e4, king's pawn, c5, start the Sicilian Defense, knight f3, e6. If you see this icon right here, that means it's all theory moves, it's book moves. If you're an uber nerd, you want to learn as many book moves as you can. So, d4, takes, and then a6. a6 prepares for a b5 pawn push to gain space on the queen side. Okay, so I guess the idea was this, and here, and bring the bishop over here, and at a certain point maybe this. I don't know. Put long-term pressure on this diagonal, prevent my bishop from going over here, so that makes sense, yeah. This is Maroczy Bind. So knight comes and puts pressure. Again, this does not work, because check, and I lose it. So, I defend it instead. Queen c7. Develops the bishop. I vaguely remember hearing, like, you know, pro streamer saying that, oh, putting it here is a bad move long term. This is like the more optimal square or something. So bishop comes out, attacks my knight. Best move, counterattacks. Defends, not a good move. Should have, at the very least, tried to trade it for this knight, who is defending this pawn. So I suppose that would have been more ambitious. So I snap off the bishop. Sorry for the squeaks. And this was not the right idea. I don't understand the concept of this idea, but I'm going to try to remember it in the future. So, knight comes out. After all of that, huh? After all of that, oh well, I guess because of the Maroczy Bind, he couldn't do this, and that was the point of it. So, I went askew, and castled. Really wanted this move. It wanted this move. Castles. What? Okay. Wanted me to put the bishop here. I guess to get the queen here faster, but I wasn't expecting him to castle. I was expecting something like this. I guess if the bishop is there, and then castles, then I can pick up the pawn, but, I mean, it's just a pawn, you know? And if the king is over here, then I have to, like, you know, try to get all the pieces over onto this side, and not this side, you know? The rook's gonna come over here. Well, I guess if the bishop was there, it would actually prevent this. What am I talking about? The queen is guarding. I don't understand the point of this move at all, except for to get the queen over here, but I wasn't expecting him to castle. But castles. This also prevents that from happening. It's only a good move now. Really wanted me to do this. I guess wanted to go for the rook lift, which makes a lot of sense in retrospect. Always got to be looking for that rook lift, you know? So, king moves, which was not a good move. It was an inaccuracy, not a mistake. Check. This was a mistake. I want to know why it was a mistake. So, I guess I lose the ability to... Okay. Well, sometimes all roads lead to Rome. No. 130. Okay. But opponent didn't respond well at all. Just blundered the pawn away. So, really wanted me to play here. I guess the idea is to prevent this knight from coming in here. I figured if the knight can go here, there's not much point in stopping here, but there was like this. They could probably like force a queen trade. And I would have to like move the queen somewhere else. Here maybe? No, because the knight's actually guarding. So if the queen went here to like, I don't know, be fancy and try to like trade queens, you know. I don't even have this. Wait. I do have this check. So if queen goes here, the rook would come down here. I might lose the rook. No, that doesn't really do it for me. So, he found an outpost square. I bet this knight isn't really doing a whole lot in this position right now. I miss the idea of like lifting the rook. Common theme in this game for getting the rook lift. He's currently got a battery on G2? Yes, G2. I was just distracted because I was thinking about the microphone. Alright. It wanted me to check and it wanted me to do this. And then comes here. And then comes back. And then comes here. And then goes back. And then comes here. And then goes back. And then comes here. And you got it. So I skipped all of that noise and just played this one, which is an inaccuracy. You should have checked him. Should have tried to, like, I don't even know. I don't know. So I did this, just avoided all that noise. Queen comes back, says that should have, like, defended the back rank, which I suppose makes more sense. I'm trying to get the knight to the center. The reason that I made this move was to carve out the square for the knight later on. I don't play this move. I'm upset that I didn't play this move, because this move is pretty strong. So check, but it's harmless. Oh, I did mention that. So, wanted me to sack the knight. Who am I, Gotham Chess? I mean, that is his most active piece, you know, probably takes. Is it here? No, that's a miss, bozo. So, why not here, now? So I guess there's two winning moves. Two best moves. When all roads lead to Rome. But I didn't play that. I played this stupid move. I lost sight of the goal. Queen's attacking. If queen takes here, then I have this. And then the queen would have to come back, and then I would win the queen. That's not how knights work, whatever. I could not tell you the point of this move. Maybe he was trying to free up the square. So the rook would be guarding. I'm silly. I wanted to defend my knight because he was such a valuable piece, you know, good team player, you know, trying to take care of the little guy. But I could have just, like, defended. So I defended like this, when really I could have defended like this, because she can't take, because she's pinned. But I guess I was trying to get, like, more. That's bad, you know? I need to get this, so it was just, like, too slow. I should have been more aggressive. This is, like, one of my problems when it comes to chess. I need to be more aggressive. So, two rooks in the open file. And pinned. Check. And won it. And with that, Emir-Bot has been felled. And that's it for this recording. If you like this content, consider leaving me a like, because it helps with my dwindling self-esteem, and lets me know that, you know, I should continue making more content like this. Also consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to 500, trying to make a thing out of this. I will catch you in the next one. Alright, later.